Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Terry Talk. This week, I want to talk about the importance of taking a break. Over the last few weeks, we've been talking about mental health, the importance of sleep. This one's right up there. Or as Jen Arnold in her 2016, I think it was 2016, TEDx talk, talked about adult timeouts. So here's what we know. Today, hustle culture rules the day. That's right. Everybody's moving a million miles an hour. Everything's super busy. In fact, it's led to things like attention deficit trait, which we've talked about before, where people are just so overwhelmed that our brains sort of start to shut down, but we don't even know it's happening. We live in a world where we get a buzz on our phone or a ding of our computers with an email or a text. It's like a dopamine hit. It's the new Pavlov's dog, if you will. That email or text is like giving us this craving. It's like, oh, I can't get enough of this. The snag is when we are singularly focused on a task, we drift. Productivity suffers as we get used to it. There was an HBR article, early 2000s, where they talked about this, where they actually showed that if people watched, this is before binge watching, by the way, people watched a show continuously without commercial breaks, they weren't as excited about it as when commercial breaks happened. In other words, when you broke things up, when you had breaks, and actually their rated enjoyment of the show was much higher than those that continued. Long before Netflix and binge watching, I'd be curious to see what that data would say today, but reinforcing the notion of how breaks play with our brains. What we know is when we work a task for long periods of time, we're singularly focused, fatigue sets in, we don't have awareness. How many times have you driven home and say, how did I get here? We've become cranky, we become irritable, we become stressed, we get burnt out. And today in the world of work, people are saying, hey, if I take a break, I'm going to get judged. I'm going to be known as a slacker. Any wonder that a lot of people say, I prefer work from home, where I don't have somebody watching me and calling me out if I want to take a 5-minute, time out, as it were. We also know that almost half of all people report they just never take a break at work. Can you say eating lunch at your desk? How many of us have seen that happen? And again, too much work, that overpopulation or overstimulation of our brain with too much information. We got a capacity up here, attention deficit trait taking hold. We want to keep the momentum. People will keep on working. So they sacrifice having a good timeout to kind of restart the engine, if you will. We also suffer a lot today from fear of missing out. If I take a break, am I going to miss something? It's going to happen. And we also live in this fallacy that if we just keep at a task, we'll get more done. But does your inbox ever really empty out? Almost everyone who reports taking breaks at work will report that they feel refreshed and more productive as a result of it. But hey, let's not take that just at face value. Let's look at the science. We actually a study down on Microsoft employees where they took EEG scans of people's brains and those who attended 4 back-to-back meetings. This is in the June issue of Harvard Business Review. Go check it out. 4 back-to-back meetings without taking a break versus those that took 4 back-to-back meetings with a break. And they looked at their brain scans, and what they found was those folks that did not have a break, the stress in their brains was increasing exponentially from meeting to meeting without a break. Those that had a break, they kept cool, lower stress. 5-10 minute break before meetings, lower stress. So what do we know? Breaks increases productivity, gives us greater energy, improves our mental health, lowers our stress, enhances our mood, helps with our physical health, more creative or more motivated, and we're less fatigued. So it's not a question if we should have breaks, but when we should have breaks. So lots of different ways to accomplish this. Get up, move around, change location, switch tasks, phone a friend. And the old standby we're doing for years, take a holiday, maybe take an extra day for a weekend or an extended period of time. Don't sacrifice your vacation time. That's another epic statistics where, the amount of value being left on the table because people aren't taking their vacations. Take your holidays. You heard it here. So as I was reflecting on what are some great takeaways from this, I went back to something I've had on my right over top of my desk since the beginning of the pandemic back in 2020. And that is questions to ask yourself during quarantine. And I think these are still relative today, even though we're not in a quarantine. Number one, what am I grateful for today? What a great way to stimulate your brain and to switch off from a task that you're working on. Who am I connecting with today? I make a list of people I want to talk to every day. When I need a break, I give them a shout, give them a call, send them a note. Even if they don't respond, you've disconnected from your activity. Am I getting outside? Yes, getting outside, getting that fresh air. Amazing. Doesn't matter if you're working from home or working in an office, get outside, even for 5, 10, 15 minutes. Amazing. Am I moving? Yes, physically moving, getting up from your desk, moving, walk, do whatever. Some people do crazy office dances, whatever's your jam, let's get it done. And lastly, love this quarantine question, still relevant today, still relevant to taking a break. How am I leaving things better today than they were yesterday? Changes your focus, gives your brain a bit of a mental break. As always, love to hear your comments. Let us know what your thoughts around taking breaks and some ideas that you may have. Drop them in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you again soon.